everybody, this is Perch. I hope you're doing well on this fine sunny day. It's beautiful out there, actually. Um, so this is a legitimate question. It feels like whenever I say it that way or I start off that way, I'm about to go into a bit. But I promise this isn't sarcasm. This isn't a bit, nor is this me playing dumb. Okay? So you may think you already know the answer to what I'm going to ask, and that's fine. But all I'm just asking is don't go with the knee-jerk response. Don't go with, well, there will be the kind of people in the comments who didn't listen to any of this video. Parakeet, by the way. Parakeet is the secret word. They didn't listen to this. They're just reacting off of the video title or the thumbnail. So we all have an inside joke on them now. Those people are jerks. Actually, they drive SEO. So, but who am I to complain? Anyway, but weirdly enough, that fits what I'm about to talk about really, really well. So here's the challenge that I've got. We've seen a number of relaunches. We've seen a number of new comics come out as the publishers do everything they can to try and attract this new audience. And in many cases, what they do is they bring out kind of new, younger, diverse characters. And in most cases, it rarely works. When I say works, I mean by sales. I'm sure there are some people out there who love it and embrace it, and it's the best thing they've ever had, and they can finally see themselves in the comic book and all that kind of stuff. But from a sales perspective, it doesn't work. It isn't working. And my argument here is that it's not the diversity that's the problem. It's not the fact that you've got black and brown characters or LGBTQ character, whatever it happens to be. It's more the new. It's the fact that you're taking a comic that has a character that's been established for 60 plus years, and people who want to buy that comic are buying it because they think they know what they're in for. They think they know what they're buying. And then inside the comic is a brand new version of that character that resembles nothing like what they know, and they're turned off. It's not interesting to them. It's not, what got them into the store. It's not what they expected, so they don't buy. Or they go, well, they're going to revert back to that, legacy character sooner and later anyway, so why bother? And I think that's what mainly goes on. It often gets blamed as, racist comic fans and other things, but I really don't think so in this case. I think this is Twitter listening too much to itself. It's simply a matter of, look, you're trying to push something brand new on an audience that isn't expecting it, didn't ask for it, and is frankly confused because when they picked up this issue of Superman, they were expecting to find Superman, and they're finding something radically different. What gives? It's subverting expectations, and people going, I didn't want my expectations subverted. I just wanted to pay for what I asked for. It's why you will see comics featuring, say, Jon Stewart do really well, but when they put Green Lantern out and it's got the Far Sector Green Lantern on it, then they're like, well, what is this? I came for Green Lantern. I recognize Hal Jordan. I recognize Guy Gardner to some extent. I recognize Kyle Rayner to some extent. I recognize Jon Stewart. I would argue because of the cartoons and everything, people picking up Green Lantern, they're going to be expecting to see Jon Stewart. They're going to be expecting to see Hal Jordan. Even if you put Kyle Rayner, who did have a run, a long run in the 90s as Green Lantern, it's still, people are going to be like, this is not Green Lantern. That's just, that's normal human behavior. There's nothing bigoted about it. But whenever they do this, whenever they do these relaunches and these changes, there's an interesting reaction that you see. And so you see it up on the screen now. It's, they have a picture of the, I don't even know if you're going to call it the Justice League, but this dark crisis that's coming up where the core Justice League is killed and the next generation has to figure out a way to bring them back to life. And this is the kind of post that's being made about it. It's, Reddit mad as fuck, basically, about the new, just if you're going to, don't be cutesy with it, but Reddit mad as fuck about the new Justice League. We took another W, boyos. And then there's a picture here of the, the new Justice League. And then there's a bunch of people in that thread going, oh man, that team is great. Haha, we got them. Got who? That's my core question. Who did you get exactly? And are the people who post this stuff actually reading the comics? Are they actually going to the store and buying the comics? Well, anything can change, but history suggests, based on numbers, based on when these things have been attempted in the past, history would suggest no. They're not buying it. They're not reading it. They are excited to, and this is the core of virtue signaling, but it's not virtue signaling exactly, because there's not a virtuous aspect to this. It's taunting somebody. It's taunting a group about getting what you want, but then not actually funding or supporting it. So, what do you think happens here? You do these efforts, you put these new characters out. In some cases, and I mean what I'm about to say here, in some cases, creators work really hard to try and figure out how to give these new characters some dimension, some, whatever it happens to be. Maybe many of them, kind of fall in love with the idea of this new twist on a character. That's not new to comics. People were doing that in the 70s and the 80s when they'd come up with a new character, and the writer would get really excited about a new aspect to the kind of the lore and everything else. And I'm sure there are some creators that phone it in, just like there's always been creators that phone it in. Absolutely. But let's just for the moment, work with me here. Let's assume that the creators are, they're excited to tell this new story. And the readers and the customers, although you cannot call it customers because they're not actually going to spend money, so that does not make them a customer. But what is the goal here? Predictably, this post gets a bunch of kind of sycophantic "yes" and "we owned them" and take that. One of the responses was, "Take that, comic readers." Is that really the response you want? Those are the people who are going to buy this, you dummy. But anyway, it goes on, and eventually somebody outside, somebody who has the counter view finds this, and then it fills up with your dick, and then the war continues. But nobody buys this comic. So, kind of my question and my puzzlement here is, what is the goal? What is the point of all this stuff? What is the point of somebody going on and saying, we got another one? Get posts that say, this is a huge win for LGBTQ. But is it? Because none of this stuff sticks. All of these characters fade back out into obscurity months later. Is that a win? That feels like if I was fighting for that cause, I would not consider that a win. If they put this book out, it didn't sell well, but a lot of people on Twitter posted a lot of emojis supporting it, and then 6 months later, it's gone. Maybe there's one or two books out. Like, what is the goal? Why are you invested in this? Why? You're clearly the audience that DC or Marvel or whoever, when they do these things, you're clearly the audience they're catering to. But why does your support only go far enough as to, want to be happy about making someone else mad? The goofier part of this, and I mean this, the really goofy part of this, is that they're not even commenting about the actual characters of the comic. There's no analysis about, hey, that Batman looks cool in there. That Batman looks really cool. Hey, look, there's Yara Flor. She looks awesome. Oh, there's Jackson Hyde back there. What's he doing back there? That looks cool back there. I can't wait to read an adventure. There's nothing about the comic. All that you have, the only joy, the only delight, the only glee here is from people who seem very happy that this faceless random audience at Reddit is mad as fuck. What do you get out of that? There's nothing to be gained there. In 6 months, and by the way, yes, it does eventually boomerang the other way. In 6 months, when we're back to the way things are, when all this stuff's gone, the characters ride off into the sunset or whatever, and the originals are back because we got to bring in sales, or the movies need a good tie-in. Then are the people on Reddit going to go, ha ha ha? Look at the Twitter people, mad as fuck. Ha ha ha! Look at that, you posers. That's a Green Lantern reference. Is that the sum of the game we have now? What a useless, miserable game that is. That is, there's no value being created anywhere on all that. I don't know. I don't see any point to posting stuff like this. It gets some attention. Well, so okay, so now I've said I don't understand it. Well, here's what I believe I understand. Number one, it is this odd form of virtue signaling, although it really does need a new name because there's no virtue here. It's rage signaling. It's time. It's what is this exactly? It's a waste of time, is what it is. But what is it? The point that's being made here is that somebody is hoping to do two things: get a bunch of kind of people going, yes, I agree, that's so yeah, like, and also people are being honest with themselves. It's bait to get a bunch of people to come in going, you're an idiot, and then they could go, ha ha, ha, no, you are, burn. That's the full extent and intelligence of what goes on. But again, if you care about those characters, if you want to see this evolution, if you want to see those changes, if you want to see more diversity in comics in this sense, if you want that to go on, then you're going to need to go buy the books. You're going to need to start commenting on the books. You're going to need to be telling us why, Jace Fox looks cool, does something cool. Who's his arch enemy? Where's, what kind of, if Bruce Wayne's arch enemy was a Joker, who's Jace Fox's arch enemy is going to be? Who, you need to start having those kinds of discussions. Those are the kind of discussions that normal comic readers have that have helped support and build up an industry for, 80 plus years. That's the kind of stuff that gets people talking. Saying we're owning the right wing or whoever you're owning this week. That's not how you build up anything. That's not how you get attention. Nobody is going to the store and buying these things as a protest to the right wing. They're going to post this stuff. They're going to make a lot of noise about it, but it creates no value. And if anything, it is turning people off. Remember, there's core comic fans. There's whatever the hell this group is. And then there are the normies, who the normies have often been the extra, 30 to 40% of people buying comics at times that has made the whole industry survive. The people who don't go in, don't have a pull box, but, on demand, kind of get excited about something, go buy it, maybe pick up a trade, whatever it happens to be. That extra money is what's made the comic industry not fall into bankruptcy. A bunch of nonsensical BS, look, we're owning some people on Reddit, tends to drive those normies away. They vanish. They don't keep buying. I find I was entirely useless. It's not. It doesn't make me angry. It just is pointless. It's a pointless exercise. That's the part that gets me. That's the part that I think is a waste of time, and I don't know why people do this. Fundamentally, what's missing? And it's again, I understand why people do it, but I don't understand the deeper reason why people do this. What's missing in their lives that they want to, in many cases, sabotage a comic this way, because that's what it does. Anyway, all very odd where I'm concerned. So maybe you have the answer. I'm sure you do. It needs another term. This is not virtue signaling. This is some other dumbassery. But anyway, go buy the comic, you morons. Thanks for listening.